do roughly about 50,000 miles a year. Currently where I live, I'm a bit away from all the other jockeys, so I have to drive myself mostly. The driving for me is one of the worst parts of the job. When we're late, it's nearly viewed that we're maybe unprofessional, that we've got in traffic and we should have left earlier, and that puts a huge strain on a lot of jockeys. So we do take some chances that we shouldn't be taking, and we drive a little bit reckless. And when we're in that kind of zone though, we're actually, it's very hard, it's very difficult to lock out of it. We just got getting to the race meeting on our brains, and that's when you forget the world kind of goes by.
When I used to ride as a professional jockey, I had no idea of the seriousness of the consequences of causing a major accident or a serious accident. Unfortunately, I witness it quite regularly, and sometimes it's the person who causes the accident that walks away and hasn't had any injuries, but they've inflicted some serious life-changing injuries on somebody else, and trust me, you do not want that on your conscience.
Like, I'd been working all that week and I'd been sleeping like lunch times, and I was off to a wedding. It was about 1:30 in the afternoon, and I guess just body clock kicked in and I was tired. I remember saying to myself, oh, I'll get to the top of the hill and I'll pull in. I was trying to keep myself awake, had the window open, radio on. It was just a straight road and I had veered across the road because obviously I'd dozed off. The motorcyclist coming the other way, we collided, and then I ended up in the wall. I remember getting out of the car, and then the elderly man was led on the floor, and then I realised then, oh, I've obviously hit someone, so I went over and tried to help, and someone had called an ambulance.
The amount of incidents that we go to because of human error is unbelievable, and to see their reactions and the shock and horror of not only the victims but also the people who have caused these accidents, words cannot describe.
Yeah, there's been a few occasions I've driven to a second meeting and made a ride by the skin of my teeth, but I would be thinking afterwards, geez, that was pretty mad what we were doing there. I think we sometimes think we're on a horse in control, but you know, things can happen quick when you're going fast. I've been driving now for, I think, 19 years, and I've actually lost my licence twice, both due to points building up through speeding. It is a nightmare. You need a driving licence badly when you're a jockey. Before, when I was an apprentice, I would drive and worried about, you know, getting there was main priority. Nowadays, I'm getting a bit more relaxed, that I do give myself that extra time.
I know as a jockey, you think, oh, if I don't make that race meeting, if I don't, then the world's going to end, because that's the mentality you are. You think you're invincible. You think, I have got to get on that horse, keep everyone happy. But in the reality, it's better you be late than try and get there early and not get there at all.
You know, any young kids coming through now, I'll be always thinking, look at the decks, 48 hours, try and sort out your lift. I think mentally as well, if you know you're getting a lift somewhere, think, right, all right, I'm riding out in the morning, but boom, I'm getting a lift. I can shut my eyes for half an hour in the car, I can look at the paper, do my form. It is a massive help. You know, you see some lads or girls going home on their own. They might have got beaten a horse they think they should have won on, or an owner or a trainer isn't happy and they're going home on their own. It's not really good, so it's better if there's a few of you in the car. At least you can talk to someone about it on the way home and they might just tell you it wasn't as bad as you think.
Jockeys are the 5th most likely occupation to have an accident. Interestingly, most of them are single vehicle accidents, don't involve a third party. We feel sure when there's no other car involved that the driver's been distracted somehow. So if somebody is convicted for a mobile phone offence, insurers take a very dim view of that.
I've experienced and seen people send me Snapchats. Jockeys on the way home from the races, they're bored and all that as they're driving. If you do cause an accident, the police will go in and search your phone and they will get all that data. You should not have your phone in your hand when you're driving. It can cause serious consequences.
I think the best thing to do now as well, when you get in the car with your mobile phone, is just put it in the glove box or in the hands-free set, just where you can't be touching it. You can still take calls in on your hands-free, and I'm sure 1 hour just waiting to text someone back, it's not going to be the end of the world, you know.
I fully appreciate that sometimes horses haven't ran to the best of their ability, and trainers and owners can take it out on you, and you know, the conversation can get quite heated in the car. And if that's the case, then just politely say, look, I'm driving at the moment, it's not a really good time to talk, can I ring you later when I get home? And we can have this conversation when things kind of calm down. There's no phone call that's worth putting anybody's life in danger.
Financially, my insurance now it is quite steep. The second time I lost my licence and then I went to get my car insured, it was nearly £4,000. It's a lot of money.
The police are very, very serious if you do cause a fatal accident, but also if you have a life-changing accident for somebody, then they will also be the potential of jail time.
Yeah, I lost my licence for 18 months. I had a 2-year suspended sentence and I had 150 hours community service. I was only 17 when the accident happened, and going to the magistrate and the Crown Court was a massive shock to me. The massive one for me was when the Racing Post put something out, and when one of the boys showed me that, it was sort of just a bit like, oh. At the end of the day, it was an accident. I didn't go purposely out there to hit the gentleman. Financially, I've had a hell of a lot of help off my mother and father, but having to pay to go to court and for solicitors, and I think now the impact will be obviously getting insured will be the major one, I think. Yeah, probably having been through what I've been through is probably the best advice I could give. There's no turning back time. I think you'll look at it like I do, and I regret not having pulling over early when I could have.
The young lads coming through now, they're a risk at burnout. It's very similar to the weights of jockeys. You know, I don't do as light as I used to because you're just killing yourself. You know, if you want to last, you need to look after yourself, and it's the same with the driving. If you're driving around like a lunatic, it's law of averages, you're going to have a smash. So you're better off just being a bit sensible, just leave a bit earlier, and don't be taking silly rides at silly meetings where, you know, if you know you're going to have to be breaking the speed limit to get there to ride just a horse, it's just not worth it. I think you ride better as well if you're turning up an hour before your ride or an hour and a half, have a cup of tea, read the paper. If you're rushing in because you've been at some other meeting or you've been riding out all morning and you're late and you're rushing, you just don't ride the same. You know, your mind isn't completely on the job.
We accept you're going to be caught for speeding by the nature of the beast with the amount of mileage you do. But if jockeys are really forward-thinking and want a cheaper premium, the better the driving record, the better the policy will be.
Please, boys and girls, just take care out there. The last thing I want to ever do is turn up and have to cut a jockey out of a car and find his racing gear strewn across the motorways, or have a police officer have to go and tell their parents that unfortunately their son or their daughter is not coming home tonight.